I want to welcome you to the Parents' Night this evening. I want to give you as much information as we can to help you be successful in transitioning your 8th grader to 9th grade. And you may be wondering why we do this as early as we do right now. And the reason is that we want to do a good job at course selection, so we have them do that now so that we can make sure we build a master schedule that has courses in it that your child will want to take. So we get that done as early as possible. It is possible to change them if you need to, so don't worry too much about that. But we do want them to make the best choice that they can along the way. If there's anyone here who needs this presentation in Spanish, and I think we just thought that is also going on in the library. Okay. We're just going to cover a few basic things about the school and make sure that you have information. You can raise your hand and ask questions at any time. And as a former, now administrator, former teacher, super used to the hand raising thing, totally know what to do when you do that. So I would be happy to assist. We want to start with what our vision is, and our vision is to help kids. So that's pretty easy and pretty clear. I love our mission statement: to ensure that all students develop and demonstrate the skills necessary to succeed beyond high school. So whatever it is that your child wants to do, we want to help them get there. When we had the 8th graders here on Tuesday, they came in 2 groups, and I asked them to stand up if they wanted to go to college. And they all stood up. 99.5% of them stood up. There were a couple of kids who were joking, you could tell, that stayed seated, but in general they all stood up. Which means our job is to figure out a way to get them there. Regardless of what they, you teach who walks in the door. That's what I believe. So we leave 8th grade and their previous academic experience behind, and we start them fresh in high school, and that's what we want to, how we want them. The school has 2 areas of focus over the next couple of years, and I'm sharing them with you for a reason, because when it's not happening, I want to know about it. One is aligned curriculum. We want, the teachers, I'm sure at this point, are extremely tired of hearing about my mythical twins. I actually don't have twins. If you have twins, I would love to hear from you, because I really would rather have actual twins. But I tell them, if I have twins, and I have one in your English 10 class, and I have one in your English 10 class, I don't expect those experiences to be identical. I do expect them to be similar. Parents, I think that that's reasonable. So we are working very hard to bring alignment to our courses and curriculum so that the experience a kid gets from teacher to teacher, course to course, has some consistency, so that when you take a Math 1 class at Pioneer High School, it means something. And that you can expect what that is going to look like. And so we're working very hard along that. The second is that there is an emphasis in Common Core, and we're fully implemented in Common Core by the beginning of next year, that students can figure out a way to access text in any subject. Any subject. When we think of close reading, I know English, they have to read in every subject, and we want them to be able to do it well, and so we are working in every single subject area, in every single class. Teachers are working on close reading assignments to help them be more successful at being a good reader. You can help, of course, at home by having them read. We want to bring you up to speed on what some of our extracurricular activities are, and Mr. Melisi, do you want to talk to him about sports, or you want me to do it? Sure. Mr. Melisi is one of our assistant principals. I think Mr. Holloway is our athletic director. I think he was going to be here, but he may be actually in the library as well. So tell them what they could do.
Right. Good evening. As Ms. Reese said, I'm Kim Melissi, and I'm really excited to be able to outline some of the sports programs that we offer here at Pioneer High School. If you look up on the screen, you see that there's several, if not many, different sports that are offered here on campus, and there should be something for each of your students to find that would interest them. We have a terrific women's softball team. You may have heard about them. They're very successful. They had 2 section titles. Soccer is very popular here at Pioneer High School, as well as baseball. Mr. Holloway, as Ms. Reese said, isn't here tonight. He's our athletic director, and he's doing a terrific job on, he's always accessible via email, and so am I if you have any questions. With regard to athletics, I want to make sure that as your students enter Pioneer High School, that you understand that they are student athletes. And we take that seriously. As far as when they get here, our job is to make sure that they get on to higher education and into university. So while they are here and they are taking advantage of the extracurricular activities, in this case being athletics, we want them to understand that that is a privilege, and they earn that via being good students in the classroom, being good citizens on campus, and doing what they need to do on a daily basis in order to continue to maintain that privilege. And so we will have, this coming fall, a fall sports meeting in which Mr. Holloway and I will outline the athletic handbook and what the requirements are for athletes to continue to have that privilege. So we look forward to seeing all of your kiddos this coming fall, and it's very nice to see all of you tonight. Thank you.
If your student isn't an athlete, there's lots of other ways for them to join and be involved in the school through our clubs. We have tons of clubs for practically every interest. There will be a club fair in the early fall where kids can go and see what kinds of clubs are out there, and we really recommend that you encourage your child to get involved in school. They will be better students. They're just more connected when that happens. Tons of student activities, rallies, school dances. I recommend not going to any of the dances at all ever because I think they're torture. But it turns out that the kids seem to like them. I don't understand why. So if they do want to go, then of course they are welcome. I would say they should not, though, because I think the music and that they listen to these days. Oh, should I stop? Okay, I'll stop. Attendance, crucial at the high school level, and here's why. If you miss one day of 7 classes, it's a lot of work right there. You miss 2 days, I'm not great at math, but I think that's twice as much. So that's a lot to miss. But what's crucial at the high school level is that attendance is tied just like this with credit acquisition. At the high school level, you have to acquire credits in order to graduate. It's your ticket out of here. And you have to acquire 230 credits, and you can earn 70 each year. So that means you can earn 280 over the course of your high school career. And so there's not a ton of wiggle room. And when you miss school, you miss important instruction, and you have to get that made up. We do ask that during the incredibly generous number of breaks that you are provided during the course of the year at Thanksgiving and Christmas and spring break and a few extra days, I think, in February and in May, that you schedule your vacations then. And try and keep your student in school. They will have trouble recovering if they are not in school and in school regularly. You can keep up with attendance by accessing School Loop. How many of you use School Loop now? Your kids hate that, so that's a good idea. And when they come to high school, do all of the things that your kids would hate. That's a good rule of thumb. That means you're doing the right thing. And so go and check School Loop out. You can see in real time whether they were tardy, how they're doing. We want them to get to school on time. One thing, school starts at, Douglas, at 8:05? Yes? It starts at 8 o'clock here. So all of your morning routines will be completely set off because I bet your youngster is able to pin it down to the moment. And they're ready to go in the car not 1 second earlier than they are right now. And now they have to be ready 5 whole minutes earlier next year. So please remember that the traffic patterns here in the morning are brutal, really brutal. And so school starts at 8. I recommend you get here at 6:15 or so. And then for sure they'll be here on time and get breakfast and everything. But I would 7:45. That gives them time to say hi to their friends, exchange phone numbers, catch up on since last night, and get to class on time. Notes on discipline. Don't you love this picture? Kids can get themselves in some real fixes. Our job is to help them get out of their fixes when they get themselves into fixes. And so I don't want to spend a ton of time on discipline, but the student handbook is online, and I do want to at least let you know that we've got 3 vice principals and me and lots of people here, counselors, we have an interventionist, we have all kinds of people to help your student if they're having trouble. And we will help them. We're always kind to your students, even when they are making decisions that we would rather they did not make. There is bullying assistance here. No student should feel bullied at school. And we have a tip line an anonymous tip line on our website that you can use. You can always call me, and I will never do anything without your permission, but I'll take information, tell you what some of the truth is. We can do a whole lot more than folks know we can do. So I will outline those things with you if your child is experiencing that, and help you through it. Don't suffer. Cell phones. We permit them to use, they're allowed to use them in passing periods, they're allowed to use them at lunch, after school, before school, during class. They are, in general, asked to put them away. Some teachers will have them use them for academic purposes, but in general, they're away during class time, and they can access them at passing periods and lunchtime. So guess who the most often person it is at the other end when a kid's phone gets confiscated? Mom, for sure. They're like, it's my mom. Like, oh, do you want them to serve your detention? I don't know. What do you want? So try really hard not to put them in that really uncomfortable position. If there's something going on and you need to get hold of your child, just call the school and we will help you out. I want to take a second on the, this is a screen that I added here because social media is really frightening right now. And it's in the news all the time. And I want to talk about the ways in which social media can go wrong for your kids. They are probably all, in the last couple of years, you've gotten them cell phones. And I always think that now you can't really buy cell phones that aren't smartphones. So you've handed them the whole world, and they're 12 or 13 years old. And they have the whole world. They can go anywhere in the world using that cell phone. So they open accounts, they're doing all kinds of things. They don't understand that it's there forever. They just don't understand that. It's not connecting to them. If I were to ask the kids to stand up if you have Twitter, stand up if you have Snapchat, Vine, Ask.fm, Instagram, Tumblr, Kik, Yik Yak, Whisper, they're going to stand up a lot more than you know they're going to stand up. They have Facebook for you, that's for spectators, and then they have all of these secret ones that you're like, I've never even heard of that. Yik Yak, what? Kik? And right now, some of your kids are starting to slink into their seats like, average 14-year-old has 6 of these. So you need all of their passwords and go in there. You're probably paying the bill. Find out how they're behaving when they're online. And if you have iPhones, I don't know about the other ones, but iPhones you can set it so that they can't even get an application without you being notified that they've gotten the application. recommend you do that. Did you know that there's an application out there, I don't know what it's called, that looks like a calculator? Looks just like a calculator. And it acts, and in fact it is a calculator. You could calculate all day long on that. As soon as you enter the right series of numbers, it becomes a storage vault for photos. It's a secret storage vault for photos. There's all kinds of secret apps out there like that. So if you want to know about them, Google this. Secret apps teen parents should know about. Not teen parents, parents of teens should know about. And you will get a list in your, so go through your kid's phone and see if they have any of those secret apps. Some of them might. We are going to, we want to transition your child effectively. To do that, we need a good read on them, and to get a good read on them, the best read that we have is probably what they're doing currently in class. So we want them to finish out strong, and that way we can tell if they're getting a low grade in math. We may need to ask we may need to go ahead and put them in a support class for math. We want to help them that way. But if they have a D in math, and the D is because they haven't been doing their assignments, but they do understand the math, then we've misread them. So we want to do a good job on that. So please encourage your students to finish strong this year. That gives us as much accurate information as we can get on your child. We do have an orientation week coming up in August. You will get information on that, and it will be posted on our website. We are changing a few things about that. So I don't have all of the information quite yet. I think we're moving to a link crew kind of system where they'll get hooked up with an upperclassman to sort of mentor them. I want to introduce to you Ms. Torres, who is going to talk to you ever so briefly, 2 minutes, on the Academic Leadership Academy that we offer each summer.
I promise I will be fast. So Academic Leadership Academy is a program that they can take over the summer, and this year it is 5 weeks. And it goes Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 12:30 each day. And what they'll do is they take an English class where we read a full novel, and we have a lot of discussions about what high school English is like, what things they're going to encounter in English, all those kind of things. They also have a college component where they learn all about entrance requirements, financial aid, just anything having to do with college. We pair with EAOP, and our Rogelio is standing in the back. He's in charge of EAOP. And then we do, in the afternoon, we do a leadership component. And the leadership component teaches them, we give them the Strength Finder assessment. And they go in and they figure out what their strengths are, what they're good at. And then we teach them how to learn and use those strengths when they get to high school to be good leaders. We have speakers that come in over the summer. We take a field trip to UC Davis. If you would like more information on it, I have the application and I have a fact sheet sitting up here on the front table, and I'll be here for a little bit afterwards if you want some more information about it, and Rogelio's in the back if you'd like more information on it too. And the application would just get turned into the front office at Douglas. So that's the Academic Leadership Academy.
Thank you.
Good job, be fast.
We were fast. Very good. One of our freshmen this week took a dead shark from the marine biology lab and then put it on his English teacher's desk. And when we asked him, well, what were you thinking? It turned out he wasn't. And he said it was really tempting. So sometimes when your kids are this age, they are totally this age. And so I think when I was 14, I would have maybe stolen a dead shark too. It's only like this big, so it's not like, big dead shark. And but I thought I'd share that with you because I find your kids' age amazing and pretty cool. And we want them to be successful. We will never treat them meanly. That brings me to this screen. Where to get help when your kid steals a dead shark from the marine biology lab and puts it on the English teacher's desk. You're probably going to be dealing with one of the assistant principals about that time. And we had him write an apology letter and do I had him write a little paper entitled, "Why I Don't Always Want to Be the Class Clown." And so we're moving, trying to deal with your kids compassionately. But we have a lot of folks to help you. And we have counselors. We have, the assistant principals aren't always there for the bad things, they're there for the good things too. I'm always available to help. And so the phone number, website's the easiest place to get to us is through the website. And I don't even get very many phone calls anymore, everybody emails me. So if when you transition and your child is here, you're finding that there's trouble or they brought a dead shark home from the marine lab, then marine biology lab, then you just give us a call and we will help you through to the other side of that. I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Scolari. Mr. Scolari is one of our very tall counselors, and he is, look at how tall he is. I'm 5'10", or 5'1", I can't remember now.
6'5"
Yeah.
or 6'6"?
6'4". And the dates for distribution of materials are up there for you. Kids will be selecting classes in the next week or so. So we want you to make really great decisions about that. So I'm going to let Mr. Scolari talk about that.
Good evening, everybody.
Walk me through that.
Like Mrs. Reese said, we're going to be at Douglas Middle School tomorrow, and I'll be the one. Anybody here have 0 period PE? You will see me tomorrow. Well, not you. Okay, just want to make sure. Anyways, I'll be there 0 period tomorrow, and I'll be there for the rest of the day with my other 2 colleagues, Ms. Lares and Ms. Farias. We're going to be distributing the registration forms. It's not too complicated to fill out. They have 2 choices to put their favorite electives. The electives are listed on the back of the form. But as you can see, we're not going to go back to Douglas until the 16th. And I'm, as a matter of fact, going to be working with Mr. Gangiatano. I'm going to go to Lee Middle School probably for 1 full period to register those 20 or 25 students who are going to be coming to Pioneer High School. Any questions about that? Yes?
My daughter's on an open enrollment, so would she be on one of those 25? But we haven't got, they said we won't be able to know until the end of February.
We have a list of currently of 22 students. I just added another student today. And if you want to be on that list, just talk to Mr. Gangiatano.
Okay.
That's all you got to do. Just talk to Mr. Gangiatano. Yes?
My daughter doesn't go to Douglas. She goes to St. James and Davis, and we're transitioning here to
Welcome.
public school.
Good choice.
So I'm just trying to figure out how she would get her material.
Is your address on this side of town?
Yeah, we live like 2 blocks
So
away.
that's easy. All you have to do is come in, collect the registration paperwork.
Which I did.
And then you fill it out.
Okay, which I've done.
And then currently with those students in the private schools, they come and see us March, April. So when
Oh.
you come, did you drop off the paperwork already?
No, actually, I just picked it up.
Once you
today.
drop off the paperwork based on your daughter's son's last name, we'll reach out to you and make an appointment.
Okay, okay,
Yes, that's not a problem.
okay.
Any other questions? Yes?
Received the letters in the mail regarding our registration appointment time. Is that at the Douglas Middle
Yes.
School? Oh, okay, I received it here.
No, it's at Douglas Middle School. We go by period and I think it's still in the ag lab. Does that sound about right? It is? Okay, perfect, yeah. And it's usually about 30 to 35 kids, I believe. And we just collect the completed registration forms. And answer any questions you might have. Yes?
Are you expecting parents to be there for that, or is it just for the kids then?
What does the letter say? I don't know what the letter says.
In the
It's
letter
different every
indicated
zone.
parents.
There you go.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yes?
So this February 19th, does the parent have to be there for that? Or is that just kids?
For the Lee, if you want to show up, I don't know what Mr. Gangiatano is going to do, but in the past, I just met the 20 students. They had and I don't know if Gangiatano hands out registration forms. I usually bring them with me, and I have the students sit with me for about an hour to complete it, and I give them my number if they want to change any of the electives. Yes?
So, but you're passing out the registration forms at Douglas tomorrow?
Yes.
And then we're bringing them back for 2
I think it was at 2 weeks, yeah. Depending on the appointment time that your child has,
weeks.
yeah.
So we don't need to come here to begin.
No. Yeah, we're bringing them all. Matter of fact, they're right in my truck. All right. Thank you very
you.
much.
I could have done it without it too, just saying.
So do you know what courses they have to take at high school as freshmen? Should I zoom through that super fast? They have to take English. They have to take math. Every student essentially takes Math 1. Some of your students may be currently enrolled in Math 1. Those students will go, if they qualify, they've gotten a decent grade and everything, they'll go to Math 2. They all will take PE. They have to take PE. And that's super fun. So changing, lockers, fun, fun, fun. They have their choice between taking biology or ag biology, and that we'll ask them to choose one of those things. And most of them take Health and Tech 9, which is a semester flip-flop class. The Tech 9 class meets the technology requirement for high school, and actually health is a requirement as well. So we recommend that they take Tech 9 and health at this point. And that's 5. And then they have 2 classes left over, and that they can choose electives. Now, if they do poorly in math or English, we're likely to steal one or both of those to put them in a support class for math and English, because it's crucial that they get through those subjects, of course, for graduation purposes. But assuming that they have the full choice of their electives, then looking at the back of the form is a good idea. Do we have recommendations along those lines? Not really. We want you to be cognizant of what the requirements are to get into college. So they do need to take 2 years of a foreign language, and 3 years is recommended. They do need to take 1 year of a fine art or a visual or performing art. So at some point they should get that kind of checked off their list. So to the degree that you may want to look at those things, that's not a bad idea. Some of your students may be involved in AVID right now. If any AVID students in here, they may want to continue in AVID, and you may want to check that little box as well. So those are some of the choices that you have. Did I do that justice?
Just remember, when you review the registration form tomorrow, we've been doing this about 5 or 6 years now. On the back are suggested courses to take.
Mm-hmm.
If you're considering what type of 4-year college, a 2-year, a UC, a private school, that's all listed on the back. And we review in detail the A through G requirements to gain admissions to a CSU or a UC or a private school on the back of the form. So it's very thorough, and we do that every year. And there is no different levels of when the child's a world history or biology. Both biologies meet the requirement for college. All math classes, except one, meet the requirement for college. So there is no varying degrees of math or varying degrees of science that we make sure your child gets into it. Yes?
So, will they be taking math 1, 2, 3, 4, now it's all 3?
That's right. It's math 1, 2, and 3. After that, it's pre-calculus or calculus, and or statistics. There's a couple other sideways courses as well. But in general, the course pathway, if they're starting with Math 1, is Math 1, 2, 3. That meets their high school graduation requirement. It does make them UC CSU eligible if they've gotten a C or better in all of those courses. And then there are 4th-year options for them as well. I like to put this screen up, what can you do to help, because it's tempting, because they're starting to be so independent at grade 8 as they move into grade 9, and they're shaking off the yoke of you. They don't want you too close or too involved, but stay involved. They need you more, not less, and I speak from a lot of experience on that. So check your students' progress online regularly. They hate that too. So again, if it's something that they really dislike, you probably should be doing it. And keep in contact with your students' teachers. Let them know if they're falling behind on grading, email them and say, hey, can you let me know how my child is doing? It could be that they graded things and just haven't entered it, and they do have a kind of idea about that. They get student planners that we spend some money on, so we recommend that otherwise they're trying to keep everything in their head, not great at that. I'm sure you've noticed that. You ask them to unload the dishwasher and fold the towels and make their bed, and then they unload the dishwasher and then you find them watching TV. That's because they can't remember anything. So that holds true for homework as well. They need lots of sleep, they need healthy meals. I had a student in my office today who was feeling logy, and when I queried him, I thought to ask, so did you eat lunch? No. Did you eat breakfast? No. Okay. Did you have dinner last night? Yes. And so what had happened is now he's gone 18 hours at the point I saw him without eating a thing. And oh gosh, he was starting to feel logy. Well, of course. That's natural. So healthy meals, 8 hours of sleep, monitor their online life. I know I'm harping on that, but it is one of the most common difficulties we are currently facing as high school administrators is helping you to help them manage their online social life. And assistance. Contact us if you need assistance. So that was not a typo. That's me saying, sometimes that happens and you need assistance for it. So please let us know if you're struggling, and we will help you or get you in touch. We have counseling services that we contract out. We have academic tutoring. We have academic intervention. We have folks who can help them mediate disputes. There's almost nothing that we can't figure out a way to help you with, but we got to know about it. 1,550, close to 1,600 when we start next year, students here, and we'll need your help to know that your student is struggling.